Pena, we ready to
Yes,
commence?
sir.
Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the City of West Miami Planning and Zoning Board meeting of April 26, 2016. Members present are Diana Rio,
Present.
Eugenio Gonzalez,
Present.
myself, Joe Paz. Also present, Gilberto Gonzalez and member Eugenio Gonzalez are, I'm sorry, a little nervous. Member Gilberto Gonzalez and member Alvaro Laurido are excused. Also present is Juan Pena, Planning and Zoning Director, and Jose Villalobos, City Attorney.
First item on your agenda
No, not a-
I do.
Not you.
Oh, you were looking at me.
Not you.
First item on your agenda is the approval of the minutes from February 23rd, 2016. At the last meeting, we didn't have enough people to approve it.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
I second the motion.
On the motion, Diana Rio,
Yes.
Eugenio Gonzalez,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Second item is minutes from 3/22/2016. Those will have to be tabled since you weren't present.
Okay, we'll defer that.
Next item on the agenda is new business public hearing agenda item number 1, special use permit plan development 2016-004 for the property address 1650 Southwest 62nd Avenue. Florida Power and Light Company. Applicant is requesting a special use permit for plan development for the property as stated above. The property totals 230 feet wide by 230 feet long, 31 feet long of the Florida Power and Light substation as a development. The applicant is requesting the installation of additional distribution that will transform the parcels to distribute power and to the community. The total acreage is, for the R4 parcel, is 0.919 acres, and the parcel of lands are within the R4 corridor for expansion of future semi-private facilities. The applicant is requesting to modernize the site with an aesthetically pleasing building and a 12 feet high decorative wall surrounding the entire site with lush landscape throughout the site and on public right-of-ways. FPL has requested to defer this to the May 24th meeting, so you need to open the public hearing and defer it to May 24th, and then close the public hearing.
Okay, the public hearing is now open. If anybody wants to speak on this item, although we're going to defer it to the next meeting,
May 24th
May 24th, 2016,
at 7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m. So the public hearing for this item is now closed.
Need a motion to defer.
I make a motion to defer to the
I
date
second the
stated.
motion.
Okay, on the motion, Ms. Diane Rio,
Yes.
Eugenio Gonzalez,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Next item is public hearing agenda item number 2, property address 1515 Southwest 67th Avenue, 1515 Real Estate Holdings, Inc., 1172 South Dixie Highway, number 601, Coral Gables, Florida, 33146. Applicant is requesting a special use permit for plan development for the property at 1515 Southwest 67th Avenue, West Miami, Florida. The property totals 120 feet wide by 105 feet long in the C District. The total acreage for the parcel is .27. The parcel of land is within the mixed-use corridor. The applicant is requesting to build an 8-story building on the parcel with 1 level of underground parking. The building consists of 28 residential units for a total square footage of 44,762. We notified 500 radius feet and placing that in the Miami Herald.
Okay, you wish to speak, sir?
Mr. Chairman, board members, Felix Lasarte with offices at 3250 Northeast First Avenue on behalf of the applicant 1515 Real Estate Holdings. This is a small parcel of land off 67th Avenue, and this is a modest request. This is a request that really will have a de minimis impact in the city to the services and facilities, to the roadways. You're talking about a 28-unit development that is proposed on this site at most. We believe that it's in keeping with your ordinance which encourages the redevelopment of areas along 57th, 67th Avenue, and 8th Street to provide a mixed-use type of building and modern building. And hopefully your staff supports it, and hopefully we could find your support tonight. I know you have some plans before you, and I'm here to answer any questions. We have enough parking. We're not asking for any variances, and we believe that this would be a project that's in keeping with the city and similar to other projects that this board has approved in the past.
Okay. I had a question, Mr. Pena. Ms. Rio noticed that these plans are dated 2005.
It's the same developer.
Okay.
He
and-
went through the downturn, and he's going back on the upswing.
And you went ahead and recently checked everything to
Yes.
make sure it complies with all zoning
Yes.
statutes and codes.
Obviously, the attorney for the applicant has explained to you what the project's about. The parking, excuse me, the parking that's provided is 56 parking spaces, but it's with that new concept that we discussed 10 years ago, which was with the vehicle lifts. Actually, on the property, there are only space for 29 vehicles, the way the parking lot is set up. The only way you double it up is by installing those car lifts that are used at the beach and in some other areas in the city of Miami. We would have to actually amend our parking ordinance to allow those as a condition to approving this.
Okay, I remember vaguely that we did discuss the parking lifts at one time, but we took no action.
It was on the downturn, and nobody ever came back for it, and that's why it died.
Okay.
They're described there on the front of the plans that you have.
So were these plans approved back in 2005?
They went through the zoning board, and that's as far as it got. It never went to the city commission.
Yeah, the ordinance was adopted around that time, and real estate timing is everything. So, right around the time that you put forward this new ordinance, which allowed the mixed use and the increase in densities, the market tanked. And, it's been a painful and slow recovery. As of the last couple of years, things have started to pick up some steam here, and you have a few buildings that have gone up. And, in essence, it's really the same concept that they had 10 years ago, and they're just bringing it back and getting it approved so they can start development.
Okay. And these lifts, are they operated by a valet, or does if this were to be approved, the residents of the building operate it themselves, or?
Well, so there's different ways of doing it, right? You could have private lifts, or you could have an operator. You would hire, like, it's almost like a valet, and they act as a valet, and you pay them like a valet. And what they do is they make sure that the cars go up and down, that mechanically the thing is operating properly, and we hope obviously that it'll work well. There have been issues, and you've read about them in the paper, where sometimes there's been issues with the mechanical lifts, and it's obviously a technology that is evolving for residential users. However, in commercial applications, it's used all over the country. It's used in New York, and we believe we're going to be able to use it here with some success. The reason that we're doing it is because of the site, the fact that the property is so constrained. We need, in order to provide adequate parking, which is always a big concern, we wanted to have this option of providing the lifts. So we wouldn't come here and ask for variances or things of that nature. We wanted to have ample parking. By the way, and I'm sure, Diana could probably, appreciate this. Your zoning code is compared to other zoning codes, in Miami Beach or City of Miami, your zoning code requires a lot of parking. A lot more than maybe Miami, under Miami 21. So you have, to meet your code, you need to be creative when you're doing these multifamily developments.
Okay.
So on, operationally, these will be, there's no rooftop, pool or entertainment areas?
This is a pretty small building.
Yeah, there's no
This
pool on
is a-
site.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is a pretty small building. I mean, this isn't like some of the buildings that have come up in the past where you're doing 250 units and, you're spread out over a couple of acres of land. This is a quarter-acre lot, so it's pretty packed in there. I mean, the building will have amenities, probably have a gym, things of that nature, but it's a smaller
Right,
building.
but I'm
It's-
talking about outdoor spaces where sound can travel to.
No, you're not gonna have that issue here.
Okay.
And again, this thing is designed for a higher end user. To build these things are very expensive. To put these parking systems, they're very expensive. But we believe that West Miami is in a great position, and we think 15 years from now, the prices here in West Miami, even in your single family residences, are probably going to mirror what some of the single family residences in Coral Gables along the 8th Street corridor are. So I think you're going to have a parity in price, because the area is well designed. You have a great city. You have good public facilities. You have good police, and it's really in the middle of everything. And you just can't get a better location. So by listen. The other day I was in a zoning hearing that lasted till 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was here in this in before the council. It's a hearing that I'm going to tell my grandkids about. I got home at 3:30 in the morning. I'm surprised my wife believed me. But the story was, people believe that as you build these buildings, that it deteriorates some people thought that that deteriorates the single family character of the neighborhood. It quite actually does the opposite. By you building these higher end buildings, it brings in new people to the area, people that are affluent to the area, people that can afford to go to good restaurants and spend money in the area. And then you get the better shops, you get the better restaurants along the perimeter of the city, and it kind of breathes life into it. And again, we feel very confident that West Miami is really on the upswing, and we believe that these types of projects are only gonna make it better.
Okay. Thank you.
I have another comment, one, and I don't know if this is something that we require in the code or not, is you see how as a pedestrian, when I'm walking down the street, when I look to the side, I see the actual parking. Whereas in the other buildings that we have seen, in the last couple of months, we've seen that buffer of commercial or residential at that ground level.
Correct.
I understand this is a much smaller site that doesn't have space for that type of treatment, but it is something that I think is important for the city to add that to the code if it's not in there already. It's just a totally different experience when you're walking by air vents to vent the garage as to walking by, whether it's a colonnade or residential or commercial. That's something that would totally improve, in my opinion, this project and any other project.
Correct.
And there's also ways to screen. I mean, and you could certainly approve it with a recommendation that we provide maybe some additional screening for the parking that's there, whether it be through metallic, fences and decorative features, so you could screen the parking lot and additional landscaping like it's done in a lot of cities, especially in boutique buildings in Miami Beach. You see it all the time where things are heavily screened with features, and you can't even tell that there's a parking lot there.
Or like a electric operated, rolled, gate or roll-up door, something like that.
Yeah, that would be a condition that we would put on it. It would have to be secured at night.
And also for the residents, it would provide security as well, keep unwanted people from the garage itself.
Makes sense.
And Mr. Pena, aside from the parking lift issue, the car lifts, it does meet all the zoning requirements. There's no variances, nothing that they're seeking.
No. The only thing is, the change in the ordinance to allow the car lifts, and if we want to put the condition of a valet, to put the condition that it must have a valet.
Okay.
I mean, it's something new. We would have to see how other cities have dealt with it. I believe we discussed that back 10 years ago.
Okay, any other questions before we open the public hearing from the board? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and open up the public hearing. If any residents want to speak on this issue, please approach the
Wanna speak?
podium.
Yeah. No? Okay.
No? Okay. Well, for the record, there are no speakers during the public hearing portion to speak on this item. Can we close up the hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the public hearing is now closed. It is 8 p.m. for the record. And compared to what's there now, I live about 3 blocks away, and for 22 years, and I've seen that corner. I mean, there's
I
really
think it's been
no
closed for the past
activity.
10.
I think this is going to be a really, in my opinion, a really nice project for that corner.
Thank you.
Really, it's a shame you couldn't go all the way to 16th Street and acquire the gas station or auto body. What is a garage?
Well, I believe there's still communications between the two parties, at which time we would come back for an amendment.
And I think Mrs. Rio raised a good point regarding the visibility inside. I would be more concerned along the north elevation along 15th Street, since it's already entering into the residential areas. I don't know if what the board thinks about the gates, louvers, something to screen the cars. I personally don't have a problem with it on the 67th Avenue, being that it's a busy corridor anyway, and may be a traffic hazard if cars have to wait for a roll-up or electric sliding door to open. And we definitely don't want to interfere with the traffic there. Wait a minute, there's none on 67, now that I'm looking at it. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's on 15th.
So the entrance is only on 15th Street?
Yes.
Okay, I was confused there, sorry, I apologize.
But I would agree with you that just like Publix, I asked them to put in the roll-up door, which is see-through. It's a grill type, just like the new buildings have, but it provides an added security for the building and for the people there.
Okay, the Publix has
Yes.
the door?
It will be closed every night.
Okay, that's something you may want to look into. I don't know if the board, how the board feels, if they want to make it a condition of the approval of the project, if it is approved.
And we would work with Mr. Pena to figure out the proper screening or doors or whatever it is to make sure that, it's covered and it looks nice from an aesthetic perspective.
Okay. And for security, I'm sure
And
the
security.
residents of if it were to be approved, the building would appreciate that at night
Yeah.
especially. Okay, any further comments from the board? Read this real quick. Mr. Pena, how do we handle the, or address the issue of the, car lifts?
That will be one of the conditions on the application that, the city entertains a change in the ordinance to allow car lifts.
So in theory, we would have to hear a specific item on the zoning agenda in
You
the
would-
future regarding.
exactly.
Okay,
We would have to hear it on the next, zoning agenda to approve it, and that would, then go to the city commission to see if they'll approve it.
okay. All right, I don't foresee a problem with lifts. I know they're being used, in a lot of, throughout the country and Europe as well.
And usually during a power outage, they have a free fall mode where it comes down anyway.
Okay, hopefully not on the car that's.
No, no, obviously, you remove the vehicle that's
You
underneath,
remove that car and then it,
and then it free
lower it.
falls down to the first level.
okay. Any comments, further comments from the board? Anybody care to make a motion?
I would make a motion to approve it.
I second that motion with a couple of additional conditions. One would be to add, more screening so that the visibility into the garage from the exterior would not be, how do I word that? Would not be visible, or would be less visible, maybe through louvers, gates.
Yeah, a condition to screen the garage.
Right.
Right.
On all sides facing the streets.
Right.
And then to add the roll-up doors at the garage entries.
And the ballet,
How do you feel
Wouldn't
about
that be more of a maintenance or the way they run the building? Do we have to make a motion
you
or
make it a condition, it has to be there. I think
Okay.
especially with elderly people moving into there, even though they are high-end users,
Yeah,
they're not gonna know how to operate these things.
Okay,
yeah,
you-
let's add that condition to have a valet operation at all times.
Valet slash, lift operator.
Exactly. They could use them as a security guard at night, whatever they wanna do, it's up to them.
Okay, there was a motion on the table, and I'll go ahead and second that motion. On the motion, Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Ms. Rio,
Yes,
and I vote yes with the conditions as we discussed.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item on your agenda is, where'd the agenda go? Give me a sec, I've lost the agenda. I believe it's ABC Imaging.
Yes.
Property address 5760 Southwest 8th Street. Is there is there someone for ABC Imaging? Applicant is requesting 2 signs for the front exterior of the property. The signs are 44 inches by 48 inches. They're internally lit channel letters, correct?
Yeah.
And the allowed square footage on that building is 480 square feet. This would take up 60 square feet of the front elevation. Your name and address for the record? Baja el micrófono, por favor.
Anna Tejeda, and the address is 5760 Southwest 8th Street, West Miami, 33144.
And you are the,
I'm just a customer service manager
for ABC
for
Imaging?
ABC Imaging.
Okay, the sign does meet the code, and
Yes.
it's actually below the required, square footage, or the maximum
Yes, and the building
allowed.
has been painted. That was before the building was painted.
Okay, I was gonna say, that's a fairly new building. I thought it was just, something with a copy that came out like that.
No,
I guess it had a little settlement or something,
Yes.
cracking.
it's an old structure.
Okay, any comments or motions on the application?
I have a question. Are those signs on the glass currently there?
Yes, actually, we replace them every so often for sales. But they're just, vinyl, adhesive vinyl on the window.
Okay, were those approved, or they require approval?
And that when it's a sale item, they change them often enough. Then, and also this building does not face Southwest Hay Street. This building faces internally. So we've never had a problem with that. It's not a
Okay.
permanent screen like others that you have seen where they screen out the whole window.
Right. Okay. Okay, and it is LED. All right, any further comments? Motions?
No, motion, I make a motion to approve it.
Okay, there's a motion to approve. I'll second the motion. On the motion, Ms. Rio?
No.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes,
And I vote yes. Mr. Pena, do we need additional members? Or
No, that's majority.
Okay. So the item passes. It's been
Thank you.
approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is Cabrera Animal Clinic, Animal Hospital, 6390 Southwest 8th Street. Applicant is requesting to replace the existing channel letter sign with a new LED channel letter sign. Total sign square footage is 39.6 square feet, and they're allowed 297. Your name and address?
Danny Ramirez from ACU Science, 540 West 83rd Street, Hialeah, Florida.
Actually, they were here 10 years ago to put the first sign up. Just so happened the same month.
Okay. Now there's a building going up in their old location, right?
Correct. Well, that's gone, yeah.
That's no longer there. This is just to replace the existing,
Yes, correct?
Correct.
so they're
These
just
are,
weathered, or just to update them with LED or
LED.
something?
LED,
LED,
much cheaper
yeah.
to operate.
Okay.
So that raceway is already in there.
Well, the raceway, that the existing sign is just channel letters on the actual wall, and then the raceway is a new
Gonna be bounded on the raceway.
mounted on the raceway. Correct.
Could that raceway be relocated behind the wall as
Well,
it is now?
The accessibility behind the wall is a little bit difficult with the customer wanted it to just everything to be on the outside this time around with the LEDs. Before he had the boxes in the inside of the wall,
Mm-hmm.
right on the ceiling, and he said that he would prefer everything to just be outside, the accessibility to the sign.
Can that raceway be painted to match the wall color, or make it less
Well,
visible?
we plan to match the building, to paint to match the actual building itself, to match it.
Okay.
To me, it just doesn't look very appealing to have, this is a fairly new building, and to have those letters kind of like sticking out of that raceway, it doesn't appeal to me. I would rather have the raceway behind the wall. I know it's a little bit more difficult to access it, and it's a little bit more work, but in the end, I believe it'll look a lot better.
Well, I guess what we could do is move the power supplies to some other part of the building. We could probably do that and make it work that way. You know, I'll talk to him and then place the actual power supplies somewhere else. You know, away from that area. We could probably do that as well.
Yeah, because the raceway really is gonna be basically empty. It's just gonna have 2 power supplies in there at most.
Yeah, but it's
No, that's what I'm saying, the-
attachment of the letter to
Just putting the power supply behind the wall would be a lot better.
Yeah, I would be okay with that.
Okay, I agree with what you said. You wanna make a motion with a condition?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve with the condition of relocating the raceway to behind the wall, not visible from
Okay.
the outside.
Yeah,
I
Eliminate-
second
okay.
the motion.
okay, on the motion, Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Ms. Rio,
Yes.
and I vote yes with those conditions.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the last item on your agenda tonight.
Okay, the City of West Miami Planning and Zoning Board meeting of April 26, 2016 is now adjourned. It is 8:15 p.m. for the record.
Mr. Q, ya lo puedo pagar.